It really is. This is the game where Tims will look to shine, and once again, TNC, they're trying to flag who they're going after. It's Eternal Envy. They're sending the message to him. I know at the end of game one, like Envy kind of like smiled a little bit about it, had a bit of a giggle as they were just like tipping him. But the start of game two, like even when the Enigma was picked up, the faces of Team didn't look right. Like there was definitely something that was not quite on the mark for both Gunnar and Envy's faces. They both looked annoyed about something, and the panel was mentioning it as well.
Yeah, it is difficult, especially first land for this squad. And, many of these players' career, well, Gunnar's career, I believe, and Mike not been back here since I don't know how long.
It's
tough. It's tough. You're a game away from elimination now, Toby.
Yeah, the last big thing I remember him being at was TI3, I believe, when he was part of Team Liquid with Bulb before he became EG's coach. But yeah, let's look at the upside. Team has a hell of a lot of team fight. Like a lot of team fight. This time around, they have some burst damage, which can come through Laguna Blade. They have Gunnar on this nuking hero as well, so we look to see his rotation. And it's the kind of hero you want to see him on, where he can actually have this almost like a catch-up kind of style too. It's not as, it almost doesn't feel as limiting as the Queen of Pain was in game one for catch-up, or the need to have momentum on the hero.
The problem is it feels like there's even more of a responsibility on Gunnar to make things happen, because what other core can? You've got a Medusa and a Tide. These heroes don't rotate. They are just they're both green watermelons that camp their lane and hope that eventually they have enough farm to just walk down lanes. And I like the decision to go aggro with the Bane Medusa. You've got the Enigma to deny for lane control, but it means up top there'll be a free farm Beastmaster.
It's an almost impossible lane for a Tidehunter, and Brax, like, he went the Anchor Smash, he can't get in nice and close. He went double ring of regen to go with the Stout Shield with 6 tangos and Enchantment and a Salve. Like, Brax knows he's having a hard time up
here. They were both shared to him by Enigma. Nushim, the true team player.
Oh my god, he's got 2 clarities only. Yeah. Nushim is full sacrificial Enigma.
Yeah, that is a concern, because we talked about who makes plays, right? Nushim and Gunnar. And all of a sudden, you have literally taken everything away from this Enigma. He is left with just 50 gold, or sorry, 100 gold. Way more than I expected. And he's now jungling on a hero that cannot actually do things on the map until 15 minutes plus.
Jungling Enigma is so difficult. You can't keep like all 3 of your Eidolons alive at the very beginning. The camps, they don't spawn at the initial mark, so you got to wait an entire minute, and all you're doing is just denying a creep for the off lane. But hey, if Team can make the most of this, if you can get a good lane out from Gunnar, because he's got good nuke power against the sniper, great harassment. At the same time, this can just swing back the other way from Armel.
Yep.
But it's to having that Laguna Blade that maybe the sniper has to be a little bit careful of if he gets hit by too many of these Dragon Slaves.
Yep. Something my friend Sender once said about Rubik's support was it's a kill stun, and that's exactly what you've got when you put a sniper middle. As soon as you have a couple points in shrapnel, if Rubik ever walks mid, you just throw down a couple and toss him back.
If they can body block him up here, okay, it's not enough damage. Even with the level 1 Fade Bolt, Brax is low, but just not low enough. And Tims, look at him go. He wants to deny off the salve and is able to do it. That's actually so huge.
It's really well played and very worth for the Rubik. If he gets the pull off, that's even better, and it looks like Tims will do that. Playing a great support so far. And bottom lane, I think, is the key. As you can see, the harassment coming out.
Got spin. Whoa. Underneath the tower, Ice Mike 88. He's already used his Brain Stamp. Has no Nightmare, so Gabby, another hero from TNC diving into a tower. This time around, not a salve denied. It's an entire hero killed off.
Yeah, team. This is the draft where you've effectively given away the early game, right? You've given away the ability to make plays, but when it comes to defending structures or posturing around enemy towers, you're going to be crazy strong.
Gunnar just picking up that double damage rune. That couldn't have come at a better time. Actually gave him just the amount of damage he required to kill off AU.
Really well done. It does keep lane control, though, on Armel's Hill for the time being. That's what this mid matchup is all about. 2 of the highest range mid heroes in Dota 2. And you can see Armel is going for the auto attack build, skipping the shrapnel, which makes it a lot easier to juke out the Lina spells as he catches the stun. A pre-curse.
Also, Slovey takes the time to use the global taunt Gunner. He's trying to send a message into Armel. Push him back. Hey, I just got myself a kill. It was fantastic. Should have been there. That's right, you weren't. You were farming mid.
And he's doing a good job just pressuring with the DD, and he's now acquired hill control. This is all this mid matchup is about. Got the bottle too, so you're gonna need this Dire team to control runes. But you can see TNC, they do not want to let that happen.
That was an optimistic dual breath. If it did reach, you would have had enough spin damage and dual breath damage to find the kill.
Oh, but look at this. He's going to toggle it and deny this rune. Yep. Oh, man. Sorry, camera wasn't on it, but Armel got the late start to go to top rune. But because you now have that double range active ability, he was able to deny it just before Gutter reached it. And
oh, man. Cuckoo tipped him before the death. This is what our camera was watching. It was the setup damage from Cuckoo and Tim's. Ice Mike 88 once again forced onto a retreat. But without the dual breath, they can't hold him in position long enough to find the kill. And this is still a level 2 Jakiro. No ice path available just yet. This time around, though, the dual breath will connect, but Gabby doesn't have spin.
And the lanes are going pretty okay under the circumstances for Team. Like, they have the jungle Enigma, so it's 4-on-5 for the time being, yet they're still trading bottom, winning mid. Top lane is a bit of a disaster for Brax, but he's still level 4, almost level 5. It really only gets easier for Tidehunter when you're playing against Rubik Beast. They're very low auto attack damage heroes. More points in Kraken Shell, some anchor smashes. Starts to add up.
Yeah. The thing I'm kind of a little bit wary of is, like we mentioned, Rubik just being able to play this forward role. The fact that he's got so many levels. When he rotates, when he has level 6, like how does Team feel like they have the confidence? Cap was mentioning that Tidehunter Ravage, the tentacles come out so slow that you're able to get what is quite an easy steal.
It's true, but I feel like you want to be gunning more for the Enigma and the Lina in the early game. It's always cool, and I'm sure you'd be excited to watch a stolen Ravage go off, but it's way less reliable because the Anchor Smash could come out, and now you've just got a useless spell for over 20 seconds. Whereas Lina Stun, Lina Nuke, those are amazing for a Rubik, especially now that your passive gives you spell amplification and stun duration. Lina Stun's like 3.5 seconds with no cast animation if Rubik has it.
Do you think something should be done a little bit more about trying to actually control this Enigma? Like, I know Enigma in the jungle is a very old school kind of thing, and oh, great deny by Tim.
So huge.
Again, just denying Gunnar that extra advantage in the bottle charges. But like moving Jakiro up and putting a ward down, like blocking the ability for Enigma to just do what he's freely doing. Should this actually have some level of effort to stop?
It depends. I don't think Enigma jungle, especially with these two camps, is efficient enough, and it would prevent them from doing what we've seen thus far, which is to consistently try and deny Gunner's runes, which I think is way more important than slowing down Nushim just a little bit, but it'll depend on how he makes those initial rotations. He actually already has the Helm of the Dominator finished at 6 minutes 45. He'll be grabbing the gloves, and that catapult is still alive. Really well done by Team. They preserve this creep wave long enough so that they can take it over and look to start pushing now as 3.
Well, they go for the fight now. IX Mike 88 in real trouble. Gabby's just blocking his path out. With Enigma arriving, and maybe now with the Malphus return. No, Envy doesn't have anywhere near enough damage, but with Gunnar rotating, one Laguna will find the kill. They try and see him. Gabby, he's juked it out. He's got the Quelling Blade to go back into the trees, but it won't matter. Eternal Envy will find that kill. Gunnar helps him out with the damage. So it will end up being that 1-for-1 trade-off.
No,
but you'll take it, support for core.
And seriously, this auto chest draft, I'm telling you, I've seen it in enough games. If you get to a point where you have enough levels on the Medusa, the Tide, the Enigma, it's near impossible for TNC to team fight. So they want to continue to pressure, take these towers, make TNC fight into them. That's going to be their key to winning the game.
And they can force it. I just love Nushim. Like, this just a straight dominator. Get the siege creep. Push the lane. I'll go back into the jungle. But don't worry, I'll be back again. And then meanwhile, Eternal Envy has had quite a heavy amount. Like, he's stacking for himself at the moment. If Mike won't do it, Nushim actually will. He's got a quad stack of Ancients ready to farm up.
It's just way too early. It's cool to have that, but it's not feasible for at least 4 or 5 more levels for Envy before you could maybe look to start clearing that. Although, you got to keep in mind the Tidehunter. I think that's the key. If you rotate him bottom within the next couple of minutes, you will be able to clear that stack, no problem.
You do at the level 4 Anchor Smash, and it's not far off. Like, he can pick up the Morbid Mask at least and have that lifesteal. So maybe, it's not such a far-fetched thing, and maybe it's not for Envy. Maybe Envy isn't our centerpiece, and we're actually thinking, you know what? It is important that Tidehunter gets more.
No, Brax will help Envy do the Ancients. That's how it's going to go, all right? Brax might get a couple creeps as a little tax, but I doubt that he'll be taking the brunt of those Ancients Gold. Bottom, they're sticking bottom. And there's 3-on-3 now.
Raw comes out. He's been sitting on the edge of this fight for a very long time. Wants to go for the Nightmare and Brain Stamp, give a little bit more time to live as this Siege Catapult. I don't know exactly what he was wanting to do apart from just say, hi, this is your traitor.
Yeah. Armel is going to be the key here. The reason you 10th pick the Sniper is because with no reach on the enemy side, we know what Team Team wants to do. Barrel down lanes, force team fights, but they have no real ability to ever kill Armel. And if they're standing under shrapnels, it's near impossible to win engagements. It's also one of the counters, if not the counter, to this new Medusa. You just outrange him all game. You never get stone gazed if you pick up the Dragon Lance, and I like his decision as well. Armel's going to be going for the Maelstrom. It's one of the best scaling items on this Sniper, and that's what you do when you feel no pressure.
Yep. You just become that perfect last cannon. Let everyone else be your front runners, let your supports take the hits for you, and let your Beastmaster be the initiation. Raw is on cooldown for the moment, and maybe that's the reason why Team, for the first time in a while, they're actually assaulting into the north. They want to be able to ensure more of these bounty runes, but while they do it, okay, that's a big set of Ancients that is not going to stack, but it's very well shown.
I swore he had that in time. It looked like it should have spawned. It's like we're... it really didn't look like that guy was offsides in that Champions League match the other day, but...
I'm sorry. You'll. I like how you're trying to have a European reference in there. Cuckoo's on the hunt in Vizrune around the back. Raw just came off cooldown. Newsham, look at the Hawk come up. Instantly attacks in for the Raw. The Midnight Pulse is pretty quick from Enigma. He can't really turn and do anything because the Ice Path from AU is right at the right time. But they're trying to use the conversions and the catapult to keep the creep wave off. And this is nice from Team. It's going to allow them to take a trade-off. They'll take the tier 1 tower on top. Gunnar protects the mid.
Yep, I would have liked to see Armel deal with top. Tims could have easily sat mid. There was no one there. And instead they just give up that tier 1 top for free in trade for, 300 damage on the mid tower.
Envy. He's coming right underneath the Radiant Observer Ward, and you knew, they'll have to know that there's some level of vision. They may not believe it's this far north, however. But it's watching Envy's farm area.
Do you see what he's got queued up as well? Envy going for a Midas? I mean, it could work.
Yeah, if this game goes long enough, it looks like they have more than enough team fight to win out. Look towards the mid instead. Jakira's wrapping around the back, looking for the Ice Path. The catching out Gunnar, able to do so. Beastmasters doesn't have that Roar of Elbow, won't matter with the assassination. All this damage into Gunnar. The stick charges don't survive him. And IX Mike 88 too late to bring in the Nightmare, so he'll have to use it over on the Beastmaster. The ball will take it off. But Mel's just playing objective-based gaming while this is all happening. Beat into the tier 1 tower. Same thing can be said about the bottom. Enigma and Brax, Newsham working together to bring down the tower. And Eternal Envy's Mystic Snake is slowing down this push from TNC. So the trade-off, it kind of feels okay if Gunnar didn't die.
Indeed, and you got to be careful bottom lane though, because Team is applying a lot of pressure. You can see TNC, they're so reluctant to take big engagements. They're fine going for pickoffs, but you can get punished so hard if you try and take an engagement that you're not prepared for. God forbid Armel gets ravaged, stunned, any sort of control. You get all in on him so easy as the side of Team, but here you go. Jakiro, tons of wave clear, counter push. Yep. Same with the Rubik, same with the Sniper. It gets more and more difficult for Team to shove. And
Roar on Gunnar in mid, not again.
He's just walking through the ward, and you should know that that's here by now. Someone's got to buy him a sentry. That setup on mid made that really obvious, and it just sees him walk down mid. Beastmaster rotates, an easy kill.
Yep. I still feel like this is one of those games, though, where, okay, Envy now has his hand at Midas. He's just playing for the long game. And while Gunnar has been focused, we've seen teams do this in the past, where they try and focus Gunnar down. And what's the trade-off? Enigma is a real hero. We're 13 minutes in, and he's looking to actually build into now a Crimson Guard. After adding that extra pressure with the catapult, he's been fantastic pressure, and he's been backed up by Brax, who's already got the Vlads, and is only 800-ish gold away from having a Blink Dagger. These two are really strong elements that Team have managed to farm up.
Yep, they got the tier 2 bottom already, and you said it best. If Brax gets a Blink Dagger,
and they're going to get a kill probably. Is this worth committing the black hole for to bring back the Chikiro? He doesn't have a lot of mana. And Mike's only got 3 points up. No Midnight Pulse. They can't cut through the tree line. They'll find him with the rest of the minions, so no need to commit the big abilities. Simple kill and keep the pressure up.
I'm not sure TNC's playing fast enough. Like they have drums on Jug. They got a Beastmaster. The concern is that so far they haven't really pressured TT around the map. You see, like a Midas Medusa now just farming Ancients.
Yeah, and he got rid of the Observe Ward as well. 2 sentries were committed, but losing that vision. Now TNC, they have to send a Hawk over, and they see that Envy has started this. But they're in no position to contest because the bottom lane's pushed so hard.
And the problem, like Blink on Tide is crazy. Strong can have that in 400 gold. That solves their reach problems. They can suddenly begin to start fights. The key is going to be Tim's on Rubik. He rushed the Aether Lens primarily so that he can steal these big ultimates.
Yep.
That's the real turnaround teamfight potential for TNC, because they got a lot of huge ults on the side of Team. You need great positioning, and you need to ensure you don't just catch this Ravage with more than 1 or 2 heroes.
You can see Newsham. Oh, damn, he stole my conversions. Bring back the Centaur. Bring back the Centaur. This is problematic. Bottom lane, Nightmare is out. Gunner's moving in, and he'll hit the perfect LSA, holding Jakiro in position. With Laguna Blade, they find the kill. And it just seems to happen time and time again where Team are getting these simple one-hero pickoffs on TNC while continuously pushing the lane. Getting the farm, getting the experience, and just taking over the Radiant jungle.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. And it's too early in the game for TNC to threaten Roche. One of the dire advantages...
Well, that's not going to stop them.
Yeah. Well, sorry. One of the Radiant advantages is that when you mirror the map against your opponents, it's often that you'll get Roche because Dire's playing your jungle.
Yeah.
They have to recognize this as the side of Team. You don't want to give away this Aegis because your draft is built to fight around choke points like this. They have the Blink Gold for Brax, but I don't think they're aware.
They're in no position for it. TNC's expecting some kind of fight to come back at them. That's why they scanned up, but I wonder if this was the right decision. Brax didn't have the Blink Dagger yet.
Probably was thinking maybe he would consider getting something else, but he will finish it. Look at all the items on this courier. My goodness, you've got an Atos on Gunner, Yasha for the Dusa, Blink on the Tide, and 2 Clarities heading towards the TNC side. Not exactly equitable.
They have everything ready to go now, but yeah, as you said, a little too late into the Aegis, the Immortal. But I'm loving their approach to this game, at least. Like Team, like you thought that like at least the look on the faces of 2 of the cores seemed really problematic. This is an easy pick off for Tim's actually, because that's his conversions. But putting the 2 Observer Wards on bottom, they've come in and said, you know, we've actually got a game plan with this one. Maybe this was Pocket. Maybe this was one of those weird, quirky ideas that they look to Eternal Envy to think of. He is from the No Tidehunter days. And then just, you know, let's just put down 2 Observer Wards and just keep this pressure on. This is how we play the game.
It's just, there's so much on Brax this game. He needs to hit the Dream Ravage. TNC, if you can just bait out a couple of ultimates, there's nothing Team have left to throw at you. And you can see them even maybe looking to threaten. Just force Team back to base.
It's kind of funny how we moved the pressure. Originally the pressure was all on Gunner, and now the pressure is more on Brax to actually hit the ultimates because it's the way he built up having that Blink Dagger.
Yep. If you look at the XP, gold is even and keeps bouncing back and forth, but I guess they're just not quite leveling up because right now you've got multiple heroes. You know what it is? It's Mike. Mike, my man, level 7. He's the sacrificial lamb to ensure that his 4 teammates all have a great game, really turning into a position 6, which is what our 5s always seem to end up as in the NA region.
They also solved that issue you were talking about, like the fact that there was never really a stack. Like why are you not stacking in this game? But Newsham has been on it.
Yeah.
Like that Dominator creep, if it's not pushing a lane, it's stacking an Ancient. And the fact that Envy got the entire thing solo as well, like he's sitting so happy as the highest level on the board. This Dusa is looking real strong, and Midas, it's got to pay off sometime pretty damn soon.
Yeah. I hope that Armel reconsiders. He's got Pike queued up, but I want him to buy a BKB right away. He's got enough damage output now. You've got to prepare yourselves for when teams start to march down lanes, and BKB means that as long as he's able to dodge the Ravage, there's really no ability for team to actually take him down.
So just play that range game.
Yeah, Tim's just finished his Blink, I believe. Yep, it's on the way towards him, so that Rubik You know, it's the dream game for you, Toby. I expect once things heat up, I'll be speaking a lot less.
I don't know. That's only if the fights go for a long time. Like, you just maybe having a hearing like appointment. It's like, are we good? Yeah, I don't know.
It's just so peaceful for now, right?
Isn't it? Right?
8-4, even game.
No one wants like a play-by-play caster screaming at you in some kind of weird emotional way. No, there's just no.
Diffusal finished on Gabby. TNC continuing to scale. And it's very much a team fight versus ease of execution as TNC, they're going to actually place a ward in base and just threaten high ground.
There is no one here.
Nobody.
Like, finally, the Titan's going to show himself. Brax will be hit by the ice path with the TP out. I think TNC is a little concerned. Like, they're playing so defensive, but maybe they have their opportunity. Gunnar in mid. Well, he really just seemed to be that man who was called out time and time again.
He just stuck around for that one last wave. But while
it happened, they're losing the tier 2 tower on top lane. The Hellbear Smasher and the conversions will take care of this. There's no denial to be had. Newsham gets another objective.
Very worth. And look at the towers. Both teams trading all of their side lanes. However, TNC have preserved their tier 1 mid, arguably the most important tower in Dota. At least that's what OpenAI would tell you.
Well, I hear they've been losing a little bit more lately, so maybe they've been worked out. Like, you can never be on top forever.
Yeah, 602.
Yeah, they're
amateur record, if you ask me.
Watching that mid lane now. They're still not fully ready with the mech over on Brax. Gabby will beat through the tier 2 tower. They don't want to fight. Not at least here. Newsham's actually not ready to fight. He's all the way down on bottom. The Omnisash comes in, and that's just the jump up. Brax was saved by Mike. He got the perfect nightmare off, but actually he's not saved. Gabby just spins Eternal Envy. Stones.
Yep, that is the advantage to TNC. Hit and run. You are never, ever trying to walk in just revolutionary war tactic.
Newsham's actually dead. They saw him moving around. He doesn't have TP available for 8 seconds time. That's why he's lost down in the tree line.
Oh.
And now they find him. He can even turn on this one. There's no one to help him out. Newsham is, as I said, dead.
Yep. And I love what they've decided to do. I've talked about Blink Daggers and how they don't provide much stat, but in a game like this, where there's never really an option for you to take head-on engagements, the Blink Beastmaster and the Blink Rubik, these are the heroes now. You can find those pickoffs. Both Sniper and Jug are excellent. If you can just provide a little bit of lockdown, they'll be able to land kills on almost anybody so long as they're isolated.
Did you just see the change in the item builds as well? Actually, wait, no, it's not the change in the item builds. Brax is still looking to go for a full Greaves, and a mech got built over on Gunnar.
Ooh.
They are trying to push this sustain so early on. I'm wondering if Brax just leaves that as just a casual buckler now.
See, I wouldn't have minded maybe the Aether Lens build on Gunnar this game, but it's just such a hard Lina game. It was picked so early for him. You're into a Rubik, now the Blink Beast, Jug, who you never threaten, Sniper, who's consistently going to outrange you. Like, any stun that lands on Lina is going to kill him, regardless of whether he has this mech or not. And to your point, now what is Brax going to move into? Did you just stack the mechs? Because that's very inefficient.
I don't know. And fun enough, I thought he actually had a headdress on him when he was walking to the tier 2 tower before. Maybe he was just carrying it for Gunnar because it was in his backpack. But, okay.
I mean, Envy's closing on the Scatty. He'll have it in about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Only a 2K gold lead for TNC.
You still have the high ground defense, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's your fallback to, and this is the comfort zone, at least of Eternal Envy, maybe not of Team. But
here comes the smoke mid, perhaps?
They're grouped up for it. It's Manta on the courier for the Juggernaut.
Yep.
And there's your smoke pop.
It's a really good time. They send the Jug Illusions bottom. However, if Dire are paying attention, they will notice them break smoke.
So this is an Invis rune on Brax. Like, with the Observer and Sentry, so you can send up the Hawk. Not all the support is there to help him out, and actually Brax is moving back into the mid lane, so he won't actually break this smoke. It's Newsham who's kind of in no man's land on the other side. They're kind of running through bottom.
Yeah, they got to be careful. Look at this game of cat and mouse, but they've done what they want to do. TNC, they've split the map now. They're in between the duo pairs of this Dire side. Newsham walking straight up into what could be his demise.
He is like threading the needle right now, and he will go down. Triggers the Crimson Gun. You got a Nightmare over on Beastmaster. Bane trying to TP out, but while there is the Menagerie, Beastmaster can just take that Nightmare off, get the Roar, get the kill. There will be a counter up on top lane, which is Gunnar killing off Tims. But he was that split distraction. The one who could have escaped with Blink Dagger.
He certainly could have. He made a large mistake. I believe his camera was actually just on bottom because he accepted his death without casting a spell, which is not something you'd see often from a player as talented as Tim's. And you can see TNC, even though they get those kills, right, it's still, they're just at 1k gold advantage. It didn't even shift. Part of that is Envy's Midas, and part of that is just that they're forced to make these maneuvers as 4 or 5, as Team just ignore that and continue to try and farm. Get to a point where they're ready to start walking at the enemies. Greaves completed as well on Gunnar.
I still just love this patience that comes from Team as well. I haven't seen a single Black Hole or Ravage. They are not wanting to burn any of this. And like, as TNC, you got to be sitting there going, you know, there's two huge abilities. Do we want to fight in when both of these are off cooldown? The answer has to be no. Like, there's too many possible things that could go wrong. And now they're trying to get even more of them, and this is what we want to see. It could be the potential triple Ravage, if Rubik's able to steal it, because we're going Refresher Orb over on Brack. So he's moved away from going for the Greaves, and now they're going for the all-out team fight.
Yeah, I mean, the Envy is going for his Scotty, going to pick it up at the side chopper right now.
Like, this man never halts for buyback.
No, not in this kind of game. You're at a point, especially as Dusa, that Scotty timing is just so massive for you. You're going to be the target for the enemy side. You got to be sure that you're able to live through a ton of disable and the shrapnels, the damage output. There's a lot of threat on TNC. Roche is up. This is go time. You can see Nushim had the creep in the pit. They know this is happening. Or at least it's a possibility. They got to be careful. I really like this high ground ward that Radiant side's placed. They know exactly where Nushim's positioned, and Dire have no idea.
This time, Team actually have a better vision around Roshan. Like, they just use Liar Strike Array to cut down the trees to get a better Dire Observer Ward down, so they get more information. But you are right, that Radiant Observer Ward is a lot deeper on the hill, almost in the mid lane. It will time out in 40 seconds, though.
AU getting a bit too aggressive there. One rune on your side, maybe. This one on the enemy side, not happening.
Yeah, this is actually really painful. They ensure the kill goes to Envy. Now, that's only a support kill, however, and that's not enough for Team to say they can go for Roshan. They still have to keep control of their lanes.
And we mocked the Midas a little bit, but so far it's been paying off. I mean, in a game this passive, you can't rag on it.
Yeah.
He's slowly increasing his farm advantage over the Juggernaut, mostly thanks to that Midas. And you can see 91% cooldown efficiency. Not necessarily good enough for Grant, but at least he gets an A.
Not an A+, though. But how do you actually feel? Like, I almost feel like I want to start saying the same stuff I said in game number 1, like where TNC aren't pushing the issue, is buying time for these items to arrive for Team. But in this game, it feels like Team's lineup going into the late game has a lot to work with. Once they have that jump initiation, but also once they have that unstoppable Dusa.
The danger is that they're all in on that team fight to provide any sort of lockdown or disable. Envy is tanky, but if you look at the mobility of the TNC lineup, who's he actually able to stay on top of? And BKB, think about all the lockdown that's threatened. The Rubik,
that's why he's buying it. That's why he buys a Blink Dagger. We're running this as a jumping close range Dusa Stone Gaze.
All right, let's make it happen.
Brack's in trouble. Really getting hit up. Coming on the ice path, picked up, thrown down. Ghost after the assassinations, flying in and with the roar. Amplification is a bit of a problem. And now they look towards Roshan. Buyback is available for this Tidehunter. And a smoke up from Team. It looks like they want something. Beastmaster is moving forward. He's going to send his board to do the work, to do the de-warding.
You got to be careful. They know buyback is a possibility. There's a sentry down. You got to be careful.
They see him. They got him. They know where he is. Over in the tree line. Thusa jumping in, but didn't do the Stone Gaze. Got hit by the ice path. Maybe they have enough to kill off Cuckoo, but Armel, that range and the damage, they're going to try and work through the shield. Ice Mike 88 protects himself with the Nightmare, but then Armel just turns his gun and then shoots the potato to get the kill. Buyback's already come in from the Tidehunter. And TNC are happy with this. They got a kill and force the buyback.
What an insane ice path from EU. He also hit the Force Staff to save his Beastmaster. And you can see how hard it is for Team to try and walk into fights. There's a shrapnel down on the choke point, and sure, Envy's tanky, but he's just wandering back and forth. There's no real way for him to actually enter this fight because no one else can help him disable these targets. Tide's dead, he buys back, sure, but it's going to take him a couple moments to get back into the engagement. You can see TNC playing so well. They understand how they have to win these fights. You can never fully commit. Just keep playing this cat and mouse, drag out a hero, find one kill, and reset.
You know, I do actually kind of find it hilarious in one way, the way Eternal Envy played that. Didn't want to just like blink in and Stone Gaze. He actually blinked in and said, like, please hit me so the rest of my team has a better target.
Yeah, and the other thing is that once again, TNC is abusing vision control. Last game, they had the treants everywhere. This game, they've got the Hawk. They've placed wards all over the map once again. And when you look at Team, they don't have any method of acquiring this vision to actually find the Rubik, to find the Jakiro before these fights are engaged. It's all about smoke movements and better positioning. It's just tough to find. It's a very slow draft.
It's like you're against Beastmaster. This is the problem anyway. That's a nice deal for a Rubik.
Yeah,
a Mystic Snake.
You got to toggle Mana Shield, man. Should be every time you snake, especially in that scenario, but that's a perfect example. He has no idea where Rubik is and gets caught with a little bit of laziness in the mechanics. Not a big deal, makes Rubik farm a bit faster.
It allows him to de-push the lane solo, or even push a side lane. And that's exactly what Tim's has done. Like, he's just headed towards the bottom lane. Like, if I Fey Bolt and I Mystic Snake and I get rid of this wave, your Mantra Illusions won't be doing enough to stop it.
Yep. And Team, like, they're holding hands to the jungle.
They're smoking.
Smoke. Yeah, they recognize, look, we can't keep playing this game because we're just going to have our lane shoved into us until somebody makes a mistake and gets picked off. Let's find the team fight we've been waiting for. We might get over average, Toby. 29 minutes in.
Oh, maybe not.
They scanned it.
Yep, they see him, and they're backing up. TNC, they'll hide in the trees, they'll play around their own vision, and really, such great movement from Cuckoo. Like, as you were mentioning, the vision game from TNC is right on the mark, and there's just no opportunity the team have.
You can see it's both teams very aware of their strategy. Neither one willing to give an inch.
But it's so hilarious because you know both sides are sitting there going, I actually feel pretty good about this. Like, we're going late game. Team's like, our Deucer is getting unbelievably powerful, and we have amazing team fight. And TNC is just like, well, our Glass Cannon is getting stronger and stronger. He's on his way to a Silver Edge. Our Juggernaut is a legitimate hero as well, and they've got great jump and great steal for the counter team fight. Everyone's got everything they kind of want. They're just willing to almost have this peace treaty for the moment.
It's tough. I think I favor TNC just because they're the ones that are sort of letting team, they recognize the game team is playing, and especially after game one, if anyone's going to be on edge, it's this Dire side. And how does it feel good to go 30 minutes without using a single Enigma ult, a single Tide ult? You've been holding your load for so long, you got to question if you finally get this team fight, will things really go as planned? Because you're still like one mistake away from giving up Roche and total control of the game. Because once you use the spells, then what?
Find that Zen place. Just like release slowly and then like be ready for when the time is right. TNC, like, they're happy to do so. We've got a Juggernaut up on the top lane with a Blink Dagger. Like, he can blink and spin, and he's even doing it now. Just straight spin the wave, TP back out again, force someone to come and defend this. Gunnar actually did complete the entire Greaves on himself. So trying to ensure that he will never get controlled. Or he could just survive in general. Thoughts?
The benefit is Envy is currently still an item ahead of Sniper. He's going to be finishing the Butterfly right about now, and Armel just got his Mjolnir, which means no Silver Edge, and he's a full MKB away from having an ability to actually deal damage to Envy.
Aghanim Scepter up for the Rubik. Welcome to a 2-second cooldown on Steel. He can use both Ravage and Black Hole in a fight if he can also get the Steel time right. Not to mention Fiend's Grip, not to mention every other bloody ability the team want to give to him. This is, as you said, you don't need to run him as a core. With a Blink, Ether Lens, and Aghanim Scepter, Tim's is now the real two.
You got to be very cautious now with TNC. This is the power spike for Team.
This wraparound taking so long from Team. They're not going to get here in time. Juggernaut's trying. Actually, maybe they do. The damage output's not enough. And with the illusion of Envy being sent in, they know that Roshan had begun. And Gunnar just wants them in. Raw comes in from Cuckoo, blink forward at the Omnislash. Envy blinks forward to help share the load. And maybe they have enough as he comes back out of the spin with the Fiend's Grip. This works for Team. They get the control, they get the kill. Buyback is available with the Centaur. He got a 4-up stun. Cuckoo's got nothing left in the tank. He'll go down as well in the mid lane. A double kill for Gunnar. And finally, the heat gets turned on.
The TNC finally, they get punished. You can't make that sort of maneuver. Team were all there. You can see the Crimson Guard, the Greaves. That Omnislash did next to no damage.
And they were both kill streaks too, a 4 times and a 5 times. Gunnar took both of it, got almost 1,000 gold for that, but it's Enigma who has a Blink Dagger coming over on the Courier. Roshan's already taken. Who's going to get the Aegis Immortal? Goes to Envy, a blink in. He was looking for the cheese pickup, but Jakiro will end up going down. And TNC full retreat now. They cannot stand and fight.
That's my...
This might actually be what's working.
maybe I've been using the wrong
Look at our win probability. Until these last couple of engagements, we were still sitting around the 50-50 mark.
Yeah, it's like, who needs ults, right? This is a Sun Tzu level out mind game by Envy and the Squad team. They don't need to use any of their abilities. They've just been hanging out, slowly farming, now in sole possession of the top 2 net worth spots.
And still no Ravage, still
They
no
don't need it.
Black Hole. Rubik, the only thing he was able to get was a Fiend's Grip. That's what he just used on Gunner then. It was a long-range one, a 2-minute cooldown. Yep. And he'll look for a new ability now. But it looks like Team are happy to back off. Pushing high ground against all the D-push of TNC is also a problem. I'm hoping everyone's got some coffee or something like this. We're in for a long haul, everyone.
I mean, Envy does have the highest game length of all time. It's for a reason. And I'm going to criticize Armel a bit here for the same thing I was on Limp for in that game he played Medusa in the group stage. You're going Hurricane Pike as your second item. That's about 3,000 gold that provides you no auto attack damage, no real method of accelerating. He could have bought a Midas once he saw Medusa get one. And
well, you can definitely see all the stones in the trees. Gabby is able to spin and TP away. Envy, he just went a little bit YOLO. It's like, if we could find something great, we smoked, we wanted something, he wasn't there, all right.
Yeah, the cooldown reduction talent on Sniper is quite nice too, so it makes the Midas even better, but it's more about just not buying any sort of item to help him scale. Thus, his net worth is 8,000 behind, when in reality it could be like 4 or 5. That would mean he'd have an MKB for this upcoming push Team is looking to put together. They don't need the Deuce ult necessarily. It'll cool back down soon. However, Envy is closing in on that level 25.
Cuckoo blinks up, using the Beastmaster Hawk for that extra vision. Bang goes down so quickly, but they want more. Tidehunter over in the tree lines. Ghost Scepter protects Brax long enough to get his blink off. The rest of Team are nearby, and man, they really hate boars. Lina, A-tossing and destroying it. But Envy feels really good. He's got himself an Alpha Wolf just as a fan.
Yeah, Nushim is doing such a great job on Enigma. We were talking about how he might have a hard time finding game impact, but just through his stacking, through his creep control, the Minotaur stun, or sorry, the Centaur stun, mid was actually what helped kill the Beastmaster. He's got a Wolf now, which is just Avenge. Think of it as Avenge. No other abilities but the Aura. Following around your carry Medusa.
It does show a great diversity from Yushim. Like the fact you can take these roles, which are like, I have to jump in, I have to be that standard initiator. Like, okay, I'll be your ES. And now it's like, well, I can actually play a slower passive game. I protect the areas which are important. I come and I push. I play the tempo style game as opposed to the initiation style game. Just a nice thing to remember for Yushim.
Envy is approaching that.
Envy is approaching some players.
I don't think this is a target, though.
No, this is not. Enigma will definitely jump if they want to go in.
This is an impossible situation. You cannot kill a Medusa who is level 25. He went for the split shot, uses modifiers over the 1,000 mana. I think that's to be expected. He has enough survivability. You've got to ensure you can actually deal the damage to win your team the game.
So that's where the modifier helps, not having to tank through everything TNC pumps out, especially when the damage isn't that scary so far from the Sniper. Like, this game still goes on and Sniper will still be that cannon in the back lines. They're not too far ahead. Like, it's still 5,000-6,000 in the gold and about like 10 to 8,000 in the experience. But this will now be the test.
Yep, it's all on Envy, keep in mind. He's got the Aegis for 1 more minute. And it's go time. You've got all your abilities. Shiva's BKB active on the Lina. All ults prepared. It could be time.
Oh, they're looking to jump in. Envy just wants to start this one up. Pick him down. Mystic Snake will be stolen. They'll steal a little bit of mana out of this Dusa. The tier 3 tower is still being chipped away with the macro pyre. Envy's copying a lot of damage. Remember, we still got the Aegis the Immortal, so they can assassinate. They can hold him in position. If they can burn the Aegis the Immortal, all this aggression from Envy will not be as strong, and they're stealing so much mana. Even the stone. Lina is having a real issue getting back off the ramp. Still caught inside the ice path. The tier 3 tower has fallen down, but Gunner's copying way too much damage. That's why consume up some extra regen. Dude, and they smoke. They still want to fight. We still haven't seen these two big abilities.
That's Ag Snake, Toby. It's turning everybody to stone. You don't need a stone gauge. That's insane. I cannot believe Tim's once again picked that up from Envy. That is huge for this defense.
So now you really ask, like, how great is it? So Gunner, turn to stone, cleans up the wave, and now, well, Lina picked up, thrown back into the ice path. Here's your Ravage, #1 on the board. The Fiend Grip is great too. Juggernaut is controlled, and it looks like Team are ready to break the base. Big abilities have gone out, and maybe they can catch out the Tidehunter. Double buybacks from the cores of TNC. They need to get some of these exit kills. They're looking at the Tidehunter. He's the primary target. With the spin, there's nothing Ice Mike can do apart from TP out, but that won't happen. The glass cannon to the back line, just basically shattering him out. A perfect ice pass, catching out the Lina. The TP out from Deuce will be successful, but Gunnar is left behind for his 4th death of the game. Team. They took a tier 3 tower. The buyback cost was expensive, but TNC hold their racks.
That was really well played. Jug just blinking straight into the Ravage. Perfectly timed from Brax. And this is the threat when you itemize as you are. Armel is currently 2 items behind. He needs MKB, but as we just witnessed there, if he has no BKB, the moment he catches that Ravage, Envy just clicks him down to death. Doing a great job. It looked a bit weird. He blinked straight into base. Theoretically, you could say he wasted the Aegis, but it was ticking out in 20 seconds anyway. Gunnar takes the tier 3 thanks to that space. Envy has to play this way so that his teammates with their huge ults can counter-initiate. However,
look how
those
fast
are all down now.
Look how fast TNC pushed back. It's like, okay, well, there's no Ravage. There is the Black Hole available, but no Lina for 45 seconds. And Tidehunter will have to buy back if he wants to be involved as well. And here we go. The Mystic Snakes just stealing it out. Everyone gets stoned behind the tier 3 tower. So it'll be a straight tier 3 for tier 3 tower trade. Pick up Envy. He does not want to get caught in this. Back into the Ice Path. Once again, they're burning him off. This Diffuser Carrier with a Roar and the Macropire. They're burning through the shields. Envy can't die here. If he goes down, he has to buy back. 100-second death time, and that was a long thing to buy back on. He cannot die again, and Enigma's still waiting for the right opportunity, but this Observer Ward, it sees too much. It sees Ix Mike 88. Envy's doing the best he can with that modifier. He's slowing up Cuckoo. He has lost his support in Mike, and Beastmaster looks like he'll finally go down as almost 2 minutes on the sideline. Armel, he didn't finish the melee racks. He was so close, but with the death of the Beastmaster, knew he could not stay.
Envy just... This is the danger of giving away Mystic Snake to Ags Rubik, Toby. You can see over and over, he's stun locked in the middle of the field.
It's the danger of picking all these heroes against a Rubik, who then is able to farm up an Ags.
It's true, and this is the danger. You're all in. You were all in on that bottom push, and the game's equalized now. None of the real big cores have buyback on either side.
Mike is in a world of hurt. He's dead for the same amount of time as the Beastmaster is, but more items are still being completed. The Daedalus is now done on that level 25 Deucer.
And it's just weird things from both sides. Like, if you remove the Buckler and the Ghost Scepter from Brax, he'd be in spitting distance of a Refresher Orb. I'm curious as to when this Dire side looks to make their true move. The third Roche is now the objective that counts for both sides. It's game-breaking.
They're pushing mid. I think they're looking to try and take something more here.
Envy's got to be so careful, though, because he's so easily CC'd. You've got so much stun lock, the ice paths, the increased duration on lift, the stone form. He can be diffused, he can be roared. There's no real save for him other than hard counter initiation, but he's all of their damage.
It may also just not be the push. Keep in mind, Roshan is where we look out to our minds again. Like, keep the refresher shot is so critical for Team. They need to have this, and Roshan will spawn up in 1 minute's time. So, where's the vision game now?
It's one of the most tense, slow burn games I've ever witnessed, really. Like, absolutely nothing happening for 30 minutes.
This is like a really good spice in a curry, right? It's just like, you know, the taste is great, I'm feeling the burn, but I'm going to enjoy the burn for a very long time.
Okay.
I hear that's the best way to know what's a good spice.
Roche is 30 seconds away from spawning. You've got a creep in the pit.
It's that dominated creep. I just love, like, the top 2 net worth still belong to Team, but how long until it's just ineffective net worth over on Envy? Like, he's going to go for the MKB, but what's he going to be dropping? Like, switching the boots in and out. Then he's already consumed a Moonshot. There's nothing else Envy can buy with the money that he would farm up.
You probably drop the blink, but it seems so necessary. Maybe the boots. I think... I'm really not sure, Toby. This is a real strange game to witness. You've got... the Jug finishing up a butterfly.
Roshan's up. I don't think Team saw it, though. The Wild Wing died too early. And, okay, that's a great rune to have. Hey, Envy, present. And they give him the bottle, too. He puts the Daedalus into his backpack so they can get the perfect timing on this. They need it for when the fight begins.
And look at that, BKB on Nushin as well. You've got to take out the Rubik. Tim's, there is so much pressure on him to perform now.
He still hasn't cast a black hole, right? Like,
no, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't. So
we'll get there eventually.
Okay, great. Cool. Okay.
But that's the thing, though. Neither has Rubik.
True. You could. I thought I was the one looking on the bright side of life. Smoke Gang from TNC.
This is the
Same
worst.
thing from Team Team. Here we go. This is going to be the moment. If they can find an opportunity. Rubik, he's waiting on the cliff. They see, they pick him up. Gunner, he's dying so quickly. The Nightmare save from Ice Mike getting in. It won't be a great Omni Slash. What is stolen? He's pulling it back into Tim. And it's Ravage. He's pushing forward. The Stone's on into Eternal Envy. He cannot die. New Shove hits the black hole. 3 caught, but then run! Catching 3 of his own! There goes Team down the drain! The black hole has been discovered, not in the photo, in Dota 2!
Oh my God, Toby, of all the places in the entire map to try and fight, they choose the only location that Radiant have wards, and they have 2 of them. They see the smoke, no one's on the high ground, and they get obliterated. Absolutely obliterated. Brax's blink got canceled by a Maelstrom proc. He ravages no one, and oh my God, 43 minutes of preparation.
Hey, it was
you
worth
gave
it.
away both spells.
It was worth it from TNC's side. They will have the push to come. Still, after taking that fight, walking all the way up from bottom lane into the Roche pit, they still have another 80 seconds, 70 seconds before Dusa is alive again. They're going to come through. They don't even have to take the racks. They can go for Throne.
There's no ultimates up on the side of Team. I don't think, they're paying it. It's go time, boys.
Don't delay, boys. Don't delay. Move through. There goes your melee racks. Kuga's like, hey, boys, I think I know how we can win this game of Dota 2. I think I know how we can knock Team out of ESL One Mumbai. You hit the tier 4 towers. You play the objective-based gaming. You take the Dire Ancient. Where is any kind of abilities? There's no Ravage. They move forward. There's your black hole! 4 of them together! Stylish! TNC! They take the series with TT's own abilities. You thought it was your own strengths. You were wrong. You were so wrong.
I have no words, Toby. Like, you can even see, like, still in their seats. That's shocking. What a way to end the game. 44 minutes, 43 seconds. And it only took about 30 seconds. And that was it.
It's the way you end. It's the way some of these long games go. It's the build-up. It's the tension. It's the filler episodes in a TV series. And finally, you get the season finale. They hit the abilities perfectly. Everything that you wanted to get from the Rubik, you got. They had all the items to do it, all the positioning to do it. Team, that fight on bottom lane will be a nightmare for them. And really, it was a nightmare relived underneath their own fountain. That was just domination from TNC once they could just get that upper hand. That push should even be more effective, right? The Stone Gaze Aghanim Steel, these small little things that all just started flowing the way of TNC.
The danger of the first pick Enigma into the Rubik, you could argue. But that's what happens. You all in on your hand. They wanted the team fight. It's what they got. But you can see TNC just superior positioning. They made one error. It was when they lost the 2 around that mid tower. They lose the second Aegis, but luckily they're able to recover. They kept their cool and certainly look like the more composed team throughout the series. They earned the win, and they're going to continue it. ESL One Mumbai.
You can at least give some props to Team. They at least came in with a strategy for Game 2. They controlled the southern half of the map perfectly. Their ward positioning was great. They're pushing out. They kept finding a couple of pickoffs. They always were able to add some level of pressure. And yeah, they tried something different. The different part of it worked. But of course, when you tried this late game kind of run with the big ability, with very large cooldowns, it can work beautifully for you, or it can bite you in the ass. And well, I think there's some teeth marks on the back of Team. So let's throw it down to the stage with your victors, TNC.
I am here with the man of that series, Tims of TNC. What a series, Tims. What did you expect when you were going to be playing Team? How was the team preparing for this?
We lost to them on the group stage. We know a little bit of their playstyle, so we adjust from that.
You adjusted pretty well. Also, were you at all surprised by the draft, especially that Enigma pick? What were you guys thinking about that?
No, we're expecting the Enigma.
You were expecting it? Lastly, tell us about that last amazing play. You got the Ravage, then the Black Hole. Come on, talk us through that amazing, that won you guys the game.
All I can say is patience.
Patience. Wise words. You know what, man? I mean, India is loving what you guys are doing. Are you gonna carry the passion and hopes of course, the Indian community and take it and win this tournament for them?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course! They move on to day 2. Give it up for TNC for such an amazing showing. And you guys have been amazing, Mumbai. This is just day 1. We cannot wait for the remaining 2 games. Thank you so much. Paul, back to you.
44 minutes and 43 seconds of fantastically exciting Dota 2. Exactly what you'd want to finish off our first day inside the Dome. And a guaranteed top 4 position finish for TNC. Their best result ever at ESL One. But there's just so much to talk about it. They're going, I don't even know where you want to start with that one.
Right? As a Dota player,
we have to talk about the steals.
As a Dota player, as a Dota fan, there are moments that you live for, right? And I think that is one of those moments, both for Tim's and for all of us watching here. That was amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, so cool.
He said as well, patience, and it's such a crucial thing to have when you're playing a hero like Rubik as well, in a game like that as well, because when's it going to come? Is it going to come? Is it going to come? Now, no, not now, not now, no, now. I mean, it should... Unbelievable.
Yeah, and he reset his positioning perfectly as well after the draft. Like, if he gets caught in that black hole, game ends in a completely different way. But the patience was perfect.
I have to say, credit to Team in this game, because their lineup looked like they've got lots of potential damage. They can go really late, and maybe they can eke out a win hit. And for all intents and purposes, for about 25 minutes in this game, it looked like that's what was going to happen as well, didn't it?
They were capable of pushing this game to a point where this lineup could have actually won, and then they lost. Credit to them for doing that. That's amazing.
don't
I'm sorry. Like,
don't be mean.
What do you want me to say about this? There was like 40 minutes of nothing, and then it's just like all of this is built for team just split pushing and like getting to this late game position.
But I really enjoyed it because
it
was strategically fun and interesting to watch, right? Because you had team wanting to fight, TNC going no, we're good, thanks, stay away from us, and team were hunting for them at times.
No, both teams didn't want to fight. Both teams were just like, nah, like at some point TNC should have been able to take more control of the game, and team are just split pushing them. Nushim did a really good job with that.
He did a great job of helping Envy get back into the game.
He was constantly being able to push out, and then we just have to do stuff.
I think TNC were super confident in their ability to outplay.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that's why they're sitting back. They're like I said during the draft, right? The way that they draft is like, we're the better team.
Yeah.
And I think that was the mindset as well.
I think team just never presented an opportunity for TNC to really go for that high ground.
Hello.
And they're like, okay, that's fine.
He walks to the very edge of that black hole.
Right on the edge.
He knows exactly how close he can get.
That was great. And what a nice way to finish as well.
Yeah,
a little bit of style.
It's a great way to be able to finish. Just
and then
because
style points for this. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the dominant way that TNC did it, right? Like, you have team who drafted a lineup that wanted to be able to take the tempo early and be able to, basically be able to crush TNC in the first 20 minutes out of the game, and couldn't win that one. Then TNC, kind of the opposite approach, but just go and show like the patience and the discipline of just being able to say, okay, maybe we can't end the game, but we're still going to be able to push this late. We can outplay you. We have this Rubik against the Enigma Tidehunter. We have this sniper that you have a hard time being able to get on top of. They drafted, they actually got so many blink daggers just to try and get on top of that sniper. And TNC still proved that they're the better team. So dominant in both game 1 and 2.
Going to get some more from both of you in just a moment, but first of all, let's catch up with Mike from Team, a team that went 4-0 on the opening day and then fell to 0-4. He's with Sir Action Slacks right now.
Thank you very much, Red. Mike, hello. How you doing, sir? Thank you for joining me here in the exit interview. Sir, an incredible run that Team has had in this series here today and this entire tournament. How do you feel about where the position is?
Oh, just peachy.
I mean, did you guys feel like you were going to get this far? Were you expecting you to win the tournament, or how are you realistically feeling?
I had no expectations really. I didn't know how we would fare coming in, and we did really well in the groups, and that was exciting. But this is obviously a disappointing loss.
Right, indeed. That was a very exciting last game. It was a very exciting series to watch. You put a lot of trust in Envy in that last game. Would you have done anything differently? I know obviously you lost, but how do you think you would do that last game differently?
I think the biggest thing is team fight execution. When the game goes this long, it's just about who gets the jumps, who casts their spells, who has vision. It's a lot of little things, so I wouldn't pick one thing in particular.
Absolutely. All right, well, all that sad stuff over. What's next for Team? Where are we going to see you guys next?
We have a boot camp coming up in Europe and the major, of course, in Paris.
All right, and we're probably going to see a different result from the major, right? Come on, give me a little bit of excitement for those Team fans out there.
Yes.
All right. He said yes, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic. Mike, thank you so much. An amazing performance that you've had, and we will see more of Team at the upcoming major.
Thanks very much, Sir Action Slacks. Yes, trust me, Mike is an exciting person.
Yep. Mike legitimately is one of the sweetest guys in the team.
He's fantastic. Yep.
I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's back.
Yeah, I was going to mention that as well, because it's great that he gets to go and do a major as well.
Sure.
I mean, you think back to those magical TI clips with Casey and the Liquid Run and everything that happened around that. It was like just so great to see him come back.
And they've been rattling around in the NA qualifier scene for a while, so really cool to see them finally get a spot. And in general, all of our interviews for this event have been so cool. It's been actually so cool to see a lot of these players that we don't normally get to see on camera talking to us a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I know that Jake's been pleased with that as well, because he said when he came here, it's actually a bonus for him. He's really looking forward to being able to talk to some of the players he doesn't normally get to talk to. And we have had some fantastic interviews, so that's good. It's also good for TNC. Top 4, guaranteed. Nice little run through this lower bracket. It's a complete change for them from what happened in the group stage as well.
Yeah, going into this tournament, they were definitely like one of the top 3 teams, probably regarded as like maybe the 2nd seed. Disappointing group stage. We've gone over like some drafting stuff and all these sort of things, but it seems like TNC is figuring themselves out and can definitely make the run through the lower bracket all the way into the finals.
I mean, those 2 games make it look like they're potential winners of the tournament again now. That's kind of elevated them back up, isn't it?
They look 10 times better with Cuckoo on Stable Heroes. They look 10 times better with him on Darkseer and Beastmaster instead of picking these like weird... If they win the lane, they'll do great, but if they fall behind a little bit, then he just has no impact in the game. I think that's what they need to focus on and keep picking him those heroes.
Team, looking forward to them, obviously, at the major.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thoughts on how they can achieve something at that major? A lot of people looked at them and said, they're going to finish 13th or 16th, but have they got anything that can make them go further than that, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have like so many bright spots in Nusham, Brax, as well as Gunnar. Like these 3 guys have demonstrated, I think, each of them individually some tier 1 plays
for sure
in this tournament, in the major qualifiers, and I'm sure they'll do so at the major as well. It's just a question of being able to put these things together. I think Mike is I think he's a good captain to have in his loyalty to his team members, and I think that Envy has already shown that he can be a tier 1 carry. And you know, there's those days of like, I look back to the EG Secret Frankfurt Major upper bracket, right? That was an amazing performance by Eternal Envy. He can have those moments as well. So if all these things just kind of click together, then I could see Team being a dark horse and making a strong run.
All right, we're going to finish up on this particular series in just a moment, but first of all, let's check in with our man at the weather station, Mr. Purge.
It was 30 minutes of farming before we got a real team fight, and we're going to take a look at that one. 32 minutes here, 1K gold advantage for TNC. In the meantime, TNC going for a Roche, Gunnar backdooring the mid tower, and he's looking pretty solo. And as a result, TNC jumps forward, drops the Roar, and they also have a Blink Omni Slash from Jug at the same time. Envy blinks forward to tank the Omni Slash, which was great, and at this point, because they had used so many mobility tools just to start the fight, they're able to use grip without any defense. So finally a team fight is going to start great. Stomp there with the Centaur to set up the follow-up kill, and as a result, they can end up pushing and taking a Roshan fight. Now, their team fight was very strong going into the late game, but as you guys saw, the Rubik was very effective at interrupting that, stealing spells, and turning it around. So it didn't go so well for Team in the end, and they did farm very well despite being behind in kills, but it wasn't enough.
Stuff once more from Purge, and we're not going to go too far away from Purge right now as well, because of course we've got our Mountain Dew and Game Fuel power plays to come as well. So let's have a look at the 4 potential power plays that Purge might break down in a few minutes time. You won't have to wait for this as well, because if I said like the next segment, that would actually be tomorrow. So we're going to get him to do it before we finish today, and these are your 4 plays. That's the first one. It's all from this particular series. Got any favourites in here? I think I might know what might be coming up.
I hope it made it in.
It may have made it into the list. This is the 3rd one. This is what we just witnessed before with the backdooring the mid.
Come on, this team fight doesn't even have a Ravage.
Our 4th play is about to start. It's this one.
I wonder.
I wonder which one you've all voted for to be broken down by Purge.
I'll give you one guess, Paul.
I mean, it's okay, I guess.
It's all right. It's just the way that Tim's gave that interview, he sounded like it was just another day at the office. He was like, oh, yeah.
It kind of was for him. It's the sort of thing he does every day in pubs, no problem.
Yep.
Should we...
How do you fill out that TPS report?
should we find out which one has made the list with Purge?
Time to disappoint everybody. I didn't get time to take that clip. It only happened about 3 minutes before GG was called. I got to walk all the way over. I don't have time to take that clip. Anyways, this was the team fight where TNC ended up going high ground against Team. 2 dead heroes. It looked really good for TNC. Now, what was crucial about this was when they ended up killing the Sven earlier, the BKB was used on the OD. So when they end up going high ground afterwards, jumping forward and banishing the Quap, it looks great for TNC. Drow blinks forward to drop the silence, and very importantly, there's also going to be a fissure. Now, both of these were basically wasted because Gunnar did have BKB at this time, so that means he has an opportunity to fight, but he did take a lot of damage from the Quap. He got a little scared, and now with the Fiend's Grip, they needed to be able to interrupt this, but because they wasted fissure here, and the Gust as well, they're able to get a full duration Fiend's Grip. And there's also a cheese on the OD, which means that he doesn't even get a chance to use this because he's Fiend's Grip. Orca damage is done, they're able to barely kill him in time so the cheese isn't used, and to make matters worse, on the right side of the fight here, after the fissure comes through, Drow accidentally forces herself towards the base. So she just kind of runs in circles here for about 20 seconds until Sven shows up and ends up clearing her out. And on the escape, Nushim does a great thing, earn on the Earthshaker to prevent him from counter-initiating and trying to save the Drow, and then everybody else can collapse and kill the Drow the second time. So a couple small mistakes, not checking the Queen of Pain's Black King bar, and a great positioning from Mike leads Team to winning that team fight, even though they still got Super Stomp later on.
Yeah, someone needs to get Purge some more Mountain Dew. Because that wasn't the clip I thought we were going to get out of that last one. But nevertheless, great stuff again, as ever, from Purge. But I think we all had a different clip we wanted to see.
That's okay. We can all go home and watch it.
Should we watch it again tonight? Just
right
over
now?
And over on YouTube?
Yep.
We'll just keep doing it. Yep. It is one of those clips, isn't it? You're right. It is a moment in time.
It is definitely the only part of that game worth watching.
That's kind of brutal. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It was a nice strategical battle. Let's check in with the brackets and show you what's happened following 3 series today here inside the Dome at ESL One Mumbai, because it has meant that we've lost 3 teams. In the upper bracket, however, nothing much has changed, of course, because we've had our matches between Team and Mineski yesterday, as well as Keen and Na'Vi. So yet tomorrow, we will get to see Mineski and Na'Vi in action. However, in the lower bracket is where all the spice has been taking place today, and you'd be forgiven for thinking that Alliance have been playing quite a lot here.
I mean, at least
they beat themselves.
Yes, they have defeated themselves. We'll fix that. It's late. Don't worry about it. We'll fix that. But
forward to replace Team. NA strikes again, baby. NA's gonna do it.
Fan wasn't even involved.
Yeah. What up now, Swedes? Woo! See, yeah. See, you know the meme. Well, let's wrap up on the day then, because it has been a fun day of Dota 2. It's ended spectacularly for one moment. I'm not going to go on about it anymore. I enjoyed the game.
Yeah, it
Were you falling asleep, Cap?
Fun. I don't know what he was doing. He was probably having a massage in his
Cap was afraid that there was going to be a game 3. That was his darkest fear.
Production were backstage going, "Go TNC, go TNC."
Do you know what the timing of the very first Ravage of the game was, Paul?
32 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it took a while. All I'm saying is it was cat and mouse. It was fun to watch. I enjoyed it. What was your favourite moment today? Not allowed to say the Black Hole Ravage.
I was pretty hyped when Slacks was going through the crowd, throwing at T-shirts or whatever was happening. That was during our game, and the crowds just started going absolutely wild. That was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah. They mobbed him out there. Apparently, it was because he was giving stuff away from the DHL Effie bot. And then when someone saw he was giving away, they just dove the Effie bot.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay.
I think we'll have to check it out tomorrow.
For fanny packs.
Indeed. Yeah.
Really?
Apparently they're back in style.
Yeah.
Everybody wants
I need one.
Who knew? Sir Action Slacks is actually a
Hook it up,
fashion
Slacks.
icon
Come
in
on.
India now.
You said I'm not allowed to say the black hole?
No, you're not allowed to choose that.
Okay, then I'm going to say the ending of that game.
The style.
That was my favorite moment of the day.
The end of the game or the actual just before the end of the game where they styled?
No, the ending of the game.
The end of the game. Right, you're done. Get out of here. Leave right now.
Okay.
We are done for day number 1 and day number 4 overall here at ESL One Mumbai. It's been another fantastic day. We've really enjoyed being here in front of the crowd as well. And we will leave you with DHL Moments That Deliver.
In there, the Roshan's quite low, the bolt's gonna come out. Armel's gonna stop this somehow. He actually gets to get the back, Crowley's got it. Crowley grabs it, he snaps it away from Armel, and Armel dies. R-Type the old beat.
Nice pass.
Blizzard, he dies first before Cuckoo, and Cuckoo is just taunting all and signifying they've been wiped completely.
This fight, looking for it, but Netflix right on top of it, gets the Inferno Blade, and they kill the Phantom Lancer. The ultimate, the other side bouncing around, looks like he'll just be brought down as the 3-man Ice Path. Slayer is having an awesome game. Laguna Blade gets thrown out, and it's actually a double kill for Iceberg. Out of nowhere, the nukes are way too much.